Hello, and once again, welcome back to my channel and my corner. I am the DM, as always, and I thank you for stopping by. Now, over the past few days, I have been covering a range of topics regarding the Robb Elementary School Massacre that happened. Throughout the articles and whatnot that we have read together, there have been no shortage of individuals on all sides making appalling and abhorrent claims, making statements about gun reform and how we need to reform the way our schools work and are built in order to protect our children and our schools. Now, there are a number of reasons why both sides are completely and utterly incorrect, not the least of which stems from the new talking point on the Republican side being one-way entrances and exits only. A single door into all schools. Now, if you're intelligent and have more than a single brain cell, you would understand that this condemns everyone within to certain death for a number of reasons. The first doesn't even have to do, or actually the first two don't even have to do with guns. What if there's a fire? What if there's an earthquake? There's only one exit. There's only one way for them to go. What happens when that exit gets blocked? And now, what happens when the shooter enters the school and barricades that one singular entrance? You want to know the issue? Is that Robb Elementary School had police officers on campus that were stationed there. They're stationed there as campus security. They have guns. You know what happened? They let the shooter walk right in. They didn't even attempt to stop him. And what's more, as we will undoubtedly find out later in this video, and that we have seen in previous videos, they stood around and did nothing. They were there and did nothing. Now, let's get into today's video, shall we? So, today we have a number of things to talk about. However, the most important one, and the one I'm going to front load immediately, is this one right here. For everyone who still supports this fucking lunatic, pay attention. I voted for Biden. Biden's doing a shit job. Scrolling down just a little ways at the very top of the article, it says, addressing an arena far from filled to capacity, which we will see shortly, Donald Trump referred to the insurrectionist hoax. Yes, that's right. He's calling the entirety of the insurrection a hoax. The whole thing never happened. That's what a hoax means. And if you don't believe me, let's look up Merriam-Webster's definition of what a hoax is. No, better yet, because some people don't like Merriam, we'll go to the Oxford Dictionary. A hoax, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is an act intended to make somebody believe something that is not true, especially something unpleasant, which means that he is saying that the entire insurrection never happened. Nothing happened. 7 people died during that insurrection, by the way. One of them was a veteran because she was joining the insurrection and was shot dead because she was attempting to gain access to restricted areas reserved only for authorized personnel such as security and Congress. I'm glad she's dead. She deserved it for trying to do what she did. Now, this is what he said. As one of the leading proponents of the insurrection hoax, Liz Cheney has published a grotesquely false, fabricated, hysterical, partisan narrative, and that was the narrative of the day, he said. 7 people died in connection with the very real attack, according to a bipartisan Senate investigation. This had nothing to do with one side or the other. It was a bipartisan investigation. Both sides came to the exact same conclusion. Shut your fucking mouth. Scrolling down more, we can see that Hagman, before Trump took the stage, said that we are fed up with the January 6th Commission and those people who think they can gaslight us. And continuing and finishing with, we are fed up with Liz Cheney. Let's watch.
We're fed up with the January 6th Commission and those people who think that they can gaslight us.
You hear that cheering? Do you hear that cheering? People are fed up with being gaslit and told that this didn't happen when it very much did. Scrolling down further in this article, Trump again tried to tie Liz Cheney to her father by showing a manipulated image of the congresswoman with George W. Bush's face. The image had been shown to the crowd earlier in the day. Quote, "The Cheneys have never met a war they didn't like," end quote. Trump said before the image came up on the screen, purporting that when he was in office, quote, "We were respected. Nobody was going to war with us. We didn't have to go to war for people to know we were the toughest and the strongest," end quote. Well, Trump, we're not at war right now either. No one wants to go to war with America. You want to know why? Let me show you why. No one wants to go to war with America. The military spending in America, when compared to literally everywhere else in the world, no one will fuck with the United States military. End of story. We make up half of the entire world's spending on our military. We could cut this in half and still we would have more spending. We would have double, almost double China's spending on their military. Our military is so far advanced compared to the entirety of the rest of the world, it's ridiculous. And if you don't believe that website, well, let's just look at a few others, shall we? No one trusts Wikipedia, let's be real. Look at this. This was reported this year. $801 billion, more than the rest of the entire world combined. No one's gonna fuck with our army, not because of you or some other fucking politician. They're not fucking with us because our army fucking makes the entire rest of the world look like a fucking child. We have the world's strongest military. We have defense systems that can shoot down missiles before America even becomes aware of them. It's insane the level of military spending that the United States has compared to the rest of the world. It's ridiculous. Let's look at this one. This was back in 2015. 3 different sources from 3 different times in 3 different modern times. And they all show the exact same result. So no one's going to war with us because no one's stupid enough to. Not even Putin. And he's dumber than Trump. Now, if we pull this up, we can see the insanely, terribly edited photos of Liz Cheney. Like, I can do a better job than this in fucking Paint. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Continuing on, throughout the speech, Trump kept returning to the subject of January 6th. And, oh boy, is he a fucking piece of work.
Now you look at the so-called word insurrection, January 6th. What a lot of crap.
The word insurrection, by the way, isn't a made-up word. It's not a so-called word. It's a real word. And it's existed since before any of you can even contemplate being alive. It's not a fake word. It's a real word that has real consequences.
What a lot of crap. And most of this country knows it. And you know who else knows it? The Democrats. It's another con job, just like Russia, Russia, Russia. This was made up by Hillary Clinton and the...
Made up. Let me replay that so that way you can hear it come from the fucking pig's mouth himself. Let me restart this whole thing so you can hear it from the fucking pig's mouth himself. Okay? I want y'all to really, especially if you're a Trump supporter, I want you to really fucking sink your teeth into what he's saying right here. He's saying that everything that happened on January 6th is a fucking lie, and that nothing happened.
Now you look at the so-called word insurrection, January 6th. What a lot of crap. What a lot of crap. And most of this country knows it. And you know who else knows it? The Democrats. It's another con job, just like Russia, Russia, Russia. This was made up by Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. A total fake story. And they have another fake story coming. It's the and many others. Don't forget.
But you still want to support this man? He just said everything that happened on January 6th was false. Nothing happened. All the news reports, all the video footage, all of it, all fake. Every single last bit of it. Completely and totally, utterly fake. Fake! This is the man that you want to be our president. This is the man that you want dictating your life. Because it won't be kind. It will be a dictatorship. By the way, his collusion with Russia was real. It's insane that this man can say these kinds of things. This is the same man that said he can go and shoot someone and no one would care. And you know what? He's not wrong. No one would fucking care. In fact, you would all fucking herald him as a goddamn hero. It wouldn't even matter who it was. In fact, I guarantee you, I'm gonna say this. I dare any of you to fucking challenge me. I guarantee you he would probably prefer to shoot a child. I'm going to say it. Challenge me. I dare you. He took a brief break from bashing Cheney to brag about the size of his crowd.
I believe it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. Anybody that was there would say the same thing. They never want to show that crowd. They never want to talk about that crowd. They never, ever show it. They never, I believe, and I've spoken before the biggest crowds. I have never spoken, in my opinion, before a crowd that big. And nobody wants to talk about it from the fake news media.
Your crowd was talked about, Trump. It was all over the fucking media. It was all over the fucking internet. It's all a part of the footage that is shown before the fucking insurrectionist. All of this was shown. His crowd, moments during his speech, moments during other people's speech at the exact same fucking rally. He's lying to your face. He's lying before evidence. Everyone fucking saw it. None of you fucking care. You'd rather sit there in your fucking homes and just let him rule over you. Let everyone control your fucking life because you're a fucking piece of shit that doesn't know how to think for themselves. You'd rather have this fucking orange monkey ruling this world. Ruling this world. Than a sane man ruling a single country. Here's another sentence that Trump said during the NRA rally. Before we nation build around the world. Don't know what that wording is, Trump. Interesting vernacular. But, you know, Biden's the one with the health issues, or the mental health issues. We should be building safe schools for our children in our own nation, in our own towns. By the way, in this very same fucking rally, at this very same NRA rally, Trump repeated the bullshit rhetoric of having all schools have a single entrance. Trump wants to condemn our children to death. Cruz wants to condemn our children to death. Not just from mass shootings, but fires, earthquakes, tornadoes, other natural disasters. There's a reason that every single building in the world has more than one entrance and more than one exit. Every building in the world, even in China. It's so that way, when something like that happens, you can try to get out. Going over to Twitter for just a moment, we have Lindy Lee here, who says the NRA convention is selling Trump rally-themed guns with "Let's Go Brandon" engraved on the grip. Daniel Defense uses toddlers handling weapons of war in its ads. Yes, they do. This weekend, the NRA promoted the same AR-15 that the killer used in Uvalde, Texas. The GOP is a dumpster fire of death and greed. Remember that coach that spoke about the Sandy Hook massacre and the legislation that was passed through the House of Representatives and is just sitting there and has been sitting there for 2 years and has never once been brought up ever? By the way, just so you know, during that exact same time, Democrats had majority of the House, so they could pass literally anything they wanted. When Bush was in office, he was known as the most useless president in American history because his party could never get anything passed because it was the Democrats that held the vast majority of it. They didn't bring it up. The Republicans didn't bring it up. Neither side tried to get it passed. Neither side spoke about it in any way, shape, or fucking form. Both sides are to blame in this. The time to stop this school shootings is not now. It's long since past. It wasn't at the Sandy Hook massacre. It wasn't at the one before that or before that. It started with the very first shooting. It wasn't done then. It hasn't been done since. It's not being done now. And it never will be. Because these fucking politicians who went to the Richie Rich fucking school and never spent a day in the life of an average American don't understand what it's like to be a fucking American. They know what it's like to be a politician. They know what it's like to hold on to their own fucking power for their own fucking gain. And not for the gain of anyone else. And in that very same rally in Wyoming, it wasn't even filled. Scrolling down here just a little bit, the rally was attended by several Republicans. One of them, Lauren Boebert, brought a gun into a federal building, which, by the way, is a federal crime, and she's still somehow a Congress member. You still think that they're not in it just for their own fucking greed and power? You're a fucking retard. House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy, also a Republican, did not attend, but sent a video message that was booed by Trump's MAGA base. This is a picture 30 minutes before Trump was supposed to make an appearance. Not that many people. Scrolling down just a little bit further, we can see another one that's now 10 minutes late. 10 minutes late Trump is. Minutes late. Man. Oh, after everybody waiting in the line outside was inside, this is what it looked like. Nowhere near capacity. By the way, Trump never spent any amount of time with Wyoming before or after any of his presidential campaigns. And now he's going there. Strange. And when you just scroll through this, you can see that it's just there's no one at this rally that he's at. Now, here's another picture I wanted to show. 19 families in Uvalde are picking child-sized caskets and planning funerals instead of summer vacation, while our senators adjourn for a 10-day break. Yet you still want to put your fake kings on their fake thrones and pretend like they really fucking give a shit. Now, I know that there are some individuals out there that are still arguing for the cops.
Look, they're just all fucking parked and outside.
And trying to
they need
fight
to go in there
for the cops. And here's the thing. Before you go and praise these fucking cowards, before you go and praise them, keep in mind the reason they didn't go in. Two reasons. One, they thought, as children and teachers were calling 911 as the shooter was there and barring himself in and everything, as they're calling him, they thought that it had turned from an active shooter to a barricaded shooter. They thought that everyone in that classroom was already dead. They were just like, well, they're dead. We can't do anything. We're not going to try to do anything. When protocol states that the officers that first arrive on scene are to immediately breach the building and detain the suspect without any reservation, stepping over the dead, the wounded, everyone, ignoring all things until the subject is detained. That is the protocol in Uvalde, Texas for the Uvalde, Texas Police Department. They're supposed to ignore everything and immediately breach that building and detain the suspect without any hesitation, without any reservation. They didn't do it because they thought. Because they stopped to think. In addition to this, another reason they didn't do it was because they didn't want to be shot at. I'm not even fucking joking. They didn't want to be shot. These fucking law enforcement officers who have the training and knowledge to handle this situation didn't want to be shot. They're fucking cowards.
There's a kid. Oh man, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna fucking go.
Look at that shit, bro. They're all in there. The cops ain't doing shit but standing outside.
All the kids are inside the fucking school and they're just standing. They're fucking parked. Oh my god. Where in the fuck? Nobody's fucking not. Fuck that.
Look, they're over there with the guns.
Oh my god.
And all the parents are gonna go in. They.
Fuck that. Like, our kids are there, man. My son's right there. They said take cover. Don't push it. Go.
Man, y'all can't be like that, man. Y'all can't be like that when there's people.
You just see what that cop did? That's assault. It doesn't fucking matter if you're a cop. That man was doing absolutely nothing but pointing in a direction, and that cop came over, grabbed him, and shoved him. But you want to fucking defend these pathetic fucking cowards. That officer just committed assault on a civilian because the civilian is a father and he has children in there, and he's trying to tell the cop to go and do his fucking job. But instead of doing his job, he's assaulting a fucking civilian.
Yes, I do. Get across the street. Because I'm having to deal with you. Get across the street. Get across the street. We have other stuff to do. We're going to back up. Or you're going to walk into that gate and get him. You got to get violent with us. Go get violent with that motherfucker, man. I have the rifles here.
By the way, the cops don't have any right to force them off of the property. One, it's not a crime scene. Two, they are not doing literally anything but standing there trying to get the cops to do their fucking job. And they refuse. They would rather spend their time arguing with these civilians than going in and doing their fucking job and saving the children.
You know that there are kids, right? They're little kids. They don't know how to defend themselves.
But Blue Lives Matter? Fuck that.
6-year-old kids in there. They don't know how to defend themselves from a shooter.
6-year-olds. Children. Y'all want to make so many fucking excuses and arguments against abortions. Y'all want Texas to pass this fucking law that allows private citizens to fucking sue and charge anyone that fucking does anything related to an abortion with murder. But you won't do fucking shit when it comes to children. When it comes to children, fuck that. These cops are heroes for letting 19 school children fucking get massacred. They are heroes.
I understand that, but fucking take him out or something. So much manpower and you still not.
Have you texted the teacher?
One person, take them out.
You don't have their number?
For real, like I mean, shit. Do the parents gotta go in there? I'm ready if I have to.
This is disgusting. Scrolling down just a little bit more, you can watch the end as parents are exhausted of cops and child clibs? Clubs out the back window.
Full of blood.
Look at this now. Look at all the parents here waiting for the cops to go and do their fucking job.
Holy shit, bro.
Look what the cops are doing. They're standing around arguing. Look at this horseshit. Look at these fucking cowards.
Parents want their fucking kids, bro.
Look at this one. He has a fucking assault rifle out. As if he's gonna have to shoot into this crowd of fucking parents. Instead of going into the fucking school and saving the children.
Damn, dude.
They would evacuate if we're going to stay, okay? They would not evacuate if we're going to stay.
He climbs out the back window. Not club. But still, like, you don't have to be a fucking rocket science to be able to see the absolute hypocrisy here. It's insane. Now, I'm not the only one outraged at this. This man right here, I'm not entirely sure who he is exactly. However, this man right here has a number of words to say in regards to all of this. And he brings up the whole abortion thing like I did as well. Let's go ahead and watch.
You know what I want to know? I want to know where that energy's at. That's what I want to know. You know, I live in the South. I live in Texas. You know, I live in the state where they passed the $10,000 snitch law. That's right. They said, you know what? You know anybody that goes and gets an abortion? You tell us, you snitch them out, we'll pay you $10,000. You know, you got lawmakers willing to make all kinds of time restrictions. You know, only, before 6 weeks, only, before this, before that, after that. It's, we're going to charge you with murder. We're going to charge the doctor with murder. We're going to charge whoever gave you a ride with murder. We're going to charge anybody and everybody. Hell, man, your brother-in-law, you had a conversation with him on the way down to the clinic. Hell, we'll charge him with murder. You know, you got all kinds of energy. You know, I live in the South. I drive by your churches, and I see the little crosses sitting out front. I see that little crosses sitting out front for all the aborted babies. All the little babies that didn't make it. Well, you really care about them. Where's that same energy? Huh? Where are the crosses for all the people that are killed in these shootings? All the kids. Where are the crosses for the Sandy Hook kids? Where are the crosses for the goddamn Uvalde kids? The people shot in the mall or wherever. You don't give a shit because you're not really Christians. You aren't. You're Satan worshiping sons of bitches is what you are. They said evil would come wrapped in a flag and carrying a Bible. And I guarantee you, you're it. You're it. You're that fucking fascism and evil. It's you. You pretend Christians. Where are your goddamn crosses for these people? Where are they? How many of them gotta die? I guarantee you right now, I know what you're doing. You're saying, they ain't taking my guns, not doing it. No, I'm not giving up my assault rifle. I might need to fight off the government. Bullshit. It's bullshit. You're fake when you talk about abortion. You don't give a shit. It's about your cult's power. That's what it's about. If you really cared, there would be little crosses all over the goddamn South for every one of these shooting victims. But you don't even think about it. Never once have I seen a sign for that. But I guarantee you I can drive 10 minutes down the road and there'll be a church that's got the goddamn little crosses talking about there's this many abortions today. Oh my blessed God. You people. Every last one of you.
You people need to realize when someone is fake. Now, this isn't the only additional bit of information and whatnot that I have to share on all of this. No. We also have this interesting interaction where Ted Cruz, I don't know exactly where he's at, looks like some kind of fancy dining establishment. And unfortunately the audio is kind of distant. However, he's sitting here asking Ted Cruz about what he's doing about it. What's he gonna do? And he's sitting there chuckling about it. He chuckles and just ignores it. Watch his body language. Look at that. You can see there's a smile.
19 children died. That's on your hands. That's on your hands. That's on your hands.
Now, of course, it's not done. No. Far from it. The Uvalde Police Department did their job and identified credible threats to a local school 4 years ago, is what Representative Tony Gonzalez says. And he says there are multiple agencies on the ground and I'm getting updated information by the minute. So, this right here is from 2018. And it reads as follows. The Uvalde Police Department is cognizant of the current community concerns of the incident that was reported to our department regarding future plans to conduct a school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. It should be noted that they take their commitment to serve and protect very seriously and work within the rulings of the law, police, and procedure. On April 19th, 2018, the Uvalde Police Department received information regarding two male juveniles aged 13 and 14. 4 years ago, planning to conduct a school shooting on their senior year 2022 at the Uvalde High School. Due to the nature and severity of the threat, the Uvalde Police Department requested the assistance of the Texas Department of Public Safety, the Texas Rangers Office. During the course of our investigation and with the assistance of the DPS Texas Rangers Office, our department made 2 arrests in connection with these threats, and they are currently in custody at the juvenile detention facility located in Del Rio, Texas. The arrests occurred on April 25th, 2018. At this time, no further information can be released, and the case actively remains under investigation. This was done back in 2018. Where is that commitment now? Non-existent. That's where. Senator John Cornyn says the second guessing and finger pointing among state and local law enforcement is destructive, distracting, and unfair. Complex scenarios require split-second decisions, easy to criticize with 2020 hindsight. There will be plenty of time to sort this out later. Focus now should be on thorough investigation and lessons learned to prevent future tragedies, not finger pointing. Well, Mr. Senator John Cornyn, here's the issue with your argument. They had time. There were no split-second decisions that were made. The only decisions that were made were to let those children be massacred, while the police stood outside the very classroom it was happening in, while the police were getting 911 calls actively from within the school. All while the school police force let the shooter walk right in. Now, here we have another video from Cruz, which just points out the idiocy of one door.
Schools safer, and one of the things that everyone agreed is don't have all of these unlocked back doors. Have one door into and out of the school, and have that one door armed police officers at that door. If that had happened, if those federal grants had gone to this school, when that psychopath arrived, the armed police officers could have taken him out.
The armed police officers that were in the school before he got onto the property could have shot him dead. The police who knew about it at 10:30, an hour before the fucking murderer got to the school, could have fucking done something about it. The social media posts the person put on his fucking profile could have warned them, and they could have done something about it. Oh wait, it did warn them. Because this school had a fucking monitoring system in place to track social media posts. Nothing happened.
And we'd have 19 children and 2 teachers still alive. Schools safer, and one of the things that everyone...
It's disgusting, this fucking rhetoric that they're trying to push off on everyone. Like it's the school's fault for not having proper security. They had security. The security team refused to do anything.
Requalify. I'm glad that you said that you're a Marine Corps veteran, because I wanted to bring this point up. How many times a year do you have to go as a Marine to requalify and prove that you are competent and proficient in the weapons that you have been issued? I'll answer that for you as a former rifle pistol coach in the Marine Corps. You have to go annually. And how long does that take? 2 weeks, right? You have a week of grass week and then a week of live fire. Isn't that right? So in the Marine Corps, you have to go for 2 weeks out of your life and prove to the Marine Corps that you are still proficient in the weapons that have been issued to you. Now let's take it a step further. Let's say you're a private through a sergeant that's living in the barracks in the Marine Corps. Are you allowed to store a firearm in your barracks room? The answer is no, you are not. If you privately own a weapon, you have to go and register that weapon with the Provost Marshal's office, and then they issue a receipt to you saying where your weapon will be stored and kept safe for you. Why is it that the United States Marine Corps, the finest fighting force on the planet, is more restrictive in who and where firearms can be stored and possessed than the average 18-year-old in the state of Texas? Why? You see, your plan is to just do nothing and ignore the problem and continue to pray and hope that it goes away. Well, guess what, Erica? That's not fucking working. Okay? That is not fucking working. Let's look at the Second Amendment for a second, all right? The Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia. If you believe that the Second Amendment applies to all citizens, and all citizens are supposed to be that militia, what do you think well-regulated means? It doesn't mean no regulations. Jesus Christ, why is this so fucking hard to understand? Doing nothing makes it easier for children to get slaughtered in their schools. Fuck all the way off.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Couldn't have said it better myself. It's absolutely abhorrent that people seriously think that these kind of things are just okay. It's abhorrent to think that people seriously don't understand gun safety. Now, over here, we have another video of Ted Cruz.
There are 19 sets of parents who are never going to get to kiss their child goodnight.
Because of you.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
You know, it's easy to go to politics.
It's not about politics. It's literally not about politics. Everyone is saying this is a political issue. It's not. This has nothing to do with politics. It's about our children and keeping them safe so they can grow up and make this country great. It has nothing to do with politics. Stop saying it's about politics. This is an argument that everyone is making. The right, the left, the middle, the fucking reporters. It's not about politics. These are our fucking children.
It's important. It's at the heart of the issue.
I get that that's where the media likes to go.
No, it's not. It's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
The proposals from Democrats in the media, inevitably, when some violent psychopath murders people.
A violent psychopath who's able to get a weapon so easily. 18-year-old with 2 AR-15s.
If you want to stop violent crime, the proposals the Democrats have, none of them would have stopped this.
But why does this only happen in your country? I really think that's what many people around the world just, they cannot fathom. Why only in America? Why is this American exceptionalism so awful?
You know, I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
I think this aspect of it.
You got your political agenda.
No, it's honestly,
God love you.
Senator, it's not. I just want to understand why you do not think that guns are the problem.
Why is this just an American problem?
Well, it is just an American problem, sir.
Mr. Cruz, why is America the only country that faces this kind of mass shooting?
But you can't answer that. You can't answer that, can you, sir? You can't answer that. Why is this country?
Why is it that people come from all over the world to America? Because it's the freest, most prosperous, safest country on earth.
Safest country on earth. Safest country. The safest country on earth. We're not even in the top 10. Like, it's insane. It's insane. Like, we're not number one in like anything. This one, Norway, most prosperous country in the world. Like, No. We're not. We're not even close, Ted Cruz. Now, of course, that's not all. Because the police have changed their story numerous times. 12 times, in fact, according to this. So let's go down. Let's see. Okay, I found the article. So, the 12 times the Uvalde police have changed their story. Initially, they said that the gunman was in custody. We know that's a lie because he's dead. Then they said that nobody actually confronted the gunman before he went in. Which means having that single entrance with the guards at it still wouldn't have actually done anything, because they wouldn't have confronted him until, at the very earliest, until after he got into the building. Then they changed how quickly the gunman entered the school. Then they said that the police arrived on scene quickly, but backed off for more than an hour. It's insane. They've changed their story so many times that at this point it's almost impossible to tell what they're actually saying, or whether or not any of it can even be believed, which, by the way, spoilers, it can't be. Another thing that's worth noting, as Jessica McMasters points out, is that a mom drove there, got handcuffed, got out of the handcuffs, hopped the fence, went into the school, and walked out with her 2 kids, all while 19 officers waited outside of the classroom where the gunman was.
Vanessa. So first I want to acknowledge the brave men and women of law enforcement that showed up to the scene, that actually were involved in the scene, that actually made entry into this school and saved more lives. That, of course, we lost 18, but I want to praise those brave men and women of law enforcement. Also, offer our condolences on behalf of Texas Department of Public Safety to the families, to the victims, and the entire Uvalde community. So what we do know right now that the suspect was involved in a family disturbance earlier on the day with his grandmother.
I'm not playing this whole thing because this guy is fucking stupid and an absolute fucking lunatic for actually congratulating law enforcement for doing fucking anything when they did absolutely fucking nothing. It's insane. It's insane. Now, of course, as Republicans and Democrats and all politicians are wont to do, they try to change everything off of that and onto something else. They try to make it about something else. And so, of course, the House Judiciary GOP, instead of talking about the massacre that just fucking happened, is talking about the still really unfortunate baby formula shortage, which is admittedly a really dumb shortage. It shouldn't be, this shouldn't have happened because they knew about it before it was even going to happen, but that's beside the point. The actual point is that they're trying to change the subject back onto this when we just had a fucking massacre, and they're just ignoring everything once all these facts start to come out about the ineptitude and incompetence of this police force, and the fact that this 18-year-old this psychopath who had just turned 18 somehow got his hands on 2 AR-15s. There is no world, no situation where an 18-year-old, someone who is freshly 18, needs 2 AR-15s and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. Period. He does not need it. If he's going hunting, there are plenty of less deadly alternatives. There are plenty of alternatives that won't destroy the meat from the thing you're hunting. Assault rifles are statistically proven to kill more in a mass shooting. But 18-year-olds need assault rifles without any training. So, as Representative Eric Swalwell points out, where are the babies? They're dead. They're dead in the classroom because you won't do shit to protect them. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Of course, this all brings us back to where we started. Trump calling it a hoax. The Republicans and Democrats are both using dangerous rhetoric and dangerous wording when they speak. Intentionally so. And they're using inflammatory language to rile you up. To get a reaction from you. And they're doing it again. And 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 again. The Area 51 raid, which started as a meme and then people were stupid enough to take seriously. Ever since that happened, it's been non-stop distractions from both sides. From all sides. They're just trying to keep you distracted. They don't want you focusing on any one thing. They want you to forget about everything that just happened. They want you to just forget about everything and just blindly follow the crowd. I haven't watched mainstream media. I haven't watched TV in over a decade. Because all they do is spout bullshit nonsense. Now, to their credit, there are some people speaking up. But that doesn't do much when for years all they've done is fill the minds of Americans with bullshit, dangerous rhetoric that doesn't help. And so now they're speaking out against the GOP and the politicians, but no one believes them because they cried wolf. And they cried wolf one too many times. America's in danger. From both sides. From all sides. It's time that we woke up.